Well, you are. You're tossing it out the door.
Why do I want to talk to someone who's going to argue with me that the world is... I don't have time for that.
I'm not presenting my theory here to you at all.
Okay.
I'm not presenting a theory. I'm presenting facts from the FBI and Fox News.
All right.
Is that not credible?
I doubt that you're presenting that.
So if I'm correct,
we work with the FBI.
I understand.
No, you don't understand. You've said I understand several times, and it's obvious to me you don't.
Oh, I'm very well researched in the ADL in the 1990 case where they were caught stealing paperwork from the San Francisco Police Department as well.
They weren't stealing paperwork. They did investigations. They weren't. Hi.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good to see you again.
Good to see you too.
Yeah. Jennifer told me you just stopped in, so I made sure I wanted to see you before the event ended.
You're my...
Where do you think would be...
We were just talking about the FBI. This is Frank.
Hi, Frank. Nice to meet you. I'm Mike Delaney. I was mentioned on an ADL website as being an anti-Semitic film producer for making a film about 9/11. So.
You're telling me the FBI has evidence and made statements.
Yeah, I mean, I got the documents. Well, I got the documents.
He works for the organization.
Yeah, well, there you go. On 9/11, this is on Fox News, Carl Cameron. Not only did the NSA, the DEA reported this collaboration with them because there was an Israeli drug ring going on as well. But on 9/11, you're catching guys who were actually from active duty IDF. Some of them even had bombs in their trucks. This is New Jersey, New York, and FBI on the scene of the crime there.
After a truckload of explosives was discovered around the George Washington Bridge, that bridge links New York to New Jersey over the Hudson River. Whether the discovery of those explosives had anything to do with other events today is unclear, but the FBI has 2 suspects in hand, said the truck load of explosives, enough explosives were in the truck to do great damage to the George Washington Bridge.
The Jewish weekly called The Forward reported that the FBI finally concluded that at least 2 of the detained Israelis were agents working for the Mossad, the Israeli intelligence agency, and that Urban Moving Systems, the ostensible employer of the 5 Israelis, was a front operation. This was confirmed by 2 former CIA officers, and they noted that movers vans are a common intelligence cover. The Israelis were held in custody for 71 days before being quietly released. Quote, "There was no question but that the order to close down the investigation came from the White House. It was immediately assumed at CIA headquarters that this basically was going to be a cover-up so that the Israelis would not be implicated in any way in 9/11, unquote. Several of the detainees discussed their experience in America on an Israeli talk show after their return home.
And at that point we were taken for another round of questioning, this time related to our allegedly being members of Mossad. The fact of the matter is we are coming from a country that experiences terror daily. Our purpose was to document the event.
It has been more than 16 years since a civilian working for the Navy was charged with passing secrets to Israel. Jonathan Pollard pled guilty to conspiracy to commit espionage and is serving a life sentence. At first, Israeli leaders claimed Pollard was part of a rogue operation, but later took responsibility for his work. Now, Fox News has learned some U.S. investigators believe that there are Israelis again very much engaged in spying in and on the U.S., who may have known things they didn't tell us before September 11th. Fox News correspondent Carl Cameron has details in the first of a 4-part series.
Since September 11th, more than 60 Israelis have been arrested or detained, either under the new Patriot anti-terrorism law or for immigration violations. A handful of active Israeli military were among those detained, according to investigators, who say some of the detainees also failed polygraph questions when asked about alleged surveillance activities against and in the United States. A highly placed investigator said there are, quote, tie-ins, but when asked for details, he flatly refused to describe them, saying, quote, "Evidence linking these Israelis to 911 is classified. I cannot tell you about evidence that has been gathered. It's classified information." Numerous classified documents obtained by Fox News indicate that even prior to September 11th, as many as 140 other Israelis had been detained or arrested in a secretive and sprawling investigation into suspected espionage by Israelis in the United States. Investigators from numerous government agencies are part of a working group that's been compiling evidence since the mid-90s. These documents detail hundreds of incidents in cities and towns across the country that investigators say, quote, may well be an organized intelligence gathering activity. The first part of the investigation focuses on Israelis who say they are art students from the University of Jerusalem and Bezalel Academy. They repeatedly made contact with U.S. government personnel, the report says, by saying they wanted to sell cheap art or handiwork. Documents say they, quote, targeted and penetrated military bases, the DEA, FBI, and dozens of other government facilities, and even secret offices and unlisted private homes of law enforcement and intelligence personnel. The majority of those questioned, quote, stated they served in military intelligence, electronic surveillance intercept, and or explosive ordnance units. Explosive ordnance units. Explosive ordnance units. The document concludes, quote, Israel possesses the resources and technical capability to achieve its collection objectives.
I got the interviews with one of the New Jersey police departments. I got interviews with New York firefighters. And then go on Fox News, they do 4 or 5 minute segments where they're discussing this. They're saying, yes, well, the intelligence agency, I don't know if it was the NSA or CI or whatever, but they said, well, the evidence linking these Israelis to 9/11 has been classified. I cannot tell you about this evidence. It has been classified. That was a direct quote from Fox News when they asked the representative from the intelligence agency. Well, these are the questions. Another one was Odago newspaper, or not Odago, Haaretz newspaper, right out of Israel. This is an Israeli newspaper. Had said Odago Instant Messaging set out a text in Hebrew to their Hebrew subscribers on their cell phones from Israel.
Evidence that Israelis had been forewarned several hours before the attack surfaced at an Israeli instant messaging service known as Odago. This story, clear evidence of Israeli prior knowledge, was reported only briefly in the U.S. media and quickly forgotten. At least 2 Israeli-based employees of Odago received warnings of an imminent attack in New York City more than 2 hours before the first plane hit the World Trade Center. Odago had its U.S. headquarters 2 blocks from the World Trade Center. The Odago employees, however, did not pass the warning on to the authorities in New York City, a move that could have saved thousands of lives. Odago has a feature called People Finder that allows users to seek out and contact others based on certain demographics, such as Israeli nationality. 2 weeks after 9/11, Alex Diamandis, Odago's vice president, reportedly said, quote, it was possible that the attack warning was broadcast to other Odago members, but the company has not received reports of other recipients of the message, unquote. The internet address of the sender was given to the FBI, and 2 months later it was reported that the FBI was still investigating the matter. There have been no media reports since. Odago, like many Israeli software companies, is based and has its research and development, or R&D center, in Herzliya, Israel, a small town north of Tel Aviv, which happens to be where Mossad's headquarters are located. Shortly after 9/11, Odago was taken over by Comverse Technology, another Israeli company. Within a year, 5 executives from Comverse were reported to have profited by more than $267 million from insider trading. Through Israeli venture capital investment funds, Mossad spawns and sponsors scores of software companies currently doing business in the United States. These Israeli-based companies are sponsored by Mossad funding sources such as Cedar Fund, Stage 1 Ventures, Veritas Venture Partners, and others. As one might expect, the portfolios of these Mossad-linked funding companies contain only Israeli-based companies, such as Odago. The Israeli company Odago provided 2 hours advance warning to people on a buddy list.
Well, the thing is that the FBI got that evidence, and then nothing was ever investigated on this. Nothing was ever, nobody ever heard any answers. This was obvious that it
just told me that the FBI made public statements
about the Mossad that were caught that day, not the Odago thing. This is 2 separate things here.
You know what? I've just lost interest.
I'm just presenting you with the facts, that's all. I mean, you guys wrote about me on your website. I just want to know, hey, here I am. We're going to talk about the evidence. I mean, if you don't want people to have blind hate, you don't want people to be anti-Semitic, but you know, when they bring up this evidence, this and numerous issues, and they bring it up, and they just get shut down.
I don't think talking to you is going to solve the problems of anti-Semitism and bigotry.
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not. That's thousands of years old. But you know, certainly on the case of 9/11, like I said, I got about 10,000 hours behind that. I got a lot of people behind, you know, within the Navy, police departments, fire departments, military, that support this movie. I put it out for free.
And you didn't include the FBI this time, but you did the previous 3 or 4 times.
Yes, the FBI statements. Yes, I'm absolutely positive on the FBI statements. This was reported on Fox News by Carl Cameron.
Fishy, you obvious this time. I knew it.
No. What can I say? I'm just presenting evidence, and you shoot me down. But you know, I thought I'd come say hi. But,
Okay.
all right. Well, it was good talking with you.
Same here.
It's good to meet you, Mike Delaney.
Mike Delaney.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Didn't I read about you on Instant Times?
In the New Times?
Yes.
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
All right.